Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game number 2 in the second best of 3 here between Fnatic and Titan. My name is Bart. That's Tom. And, well, we'll see if Fnatic can find a way to secure this one in 2 games, or if Titan will battle back and make this one an even 1-1 in the best of 3. And, well, let's take a look at the Guardians from the 2 squads here, Tom, and talk a bit about them. On one side, you have Badja from Fnatic. On the other side, it's Kanye Life. Badja, an interesting kind of figure in the Smite esports world. Kind of battled his way onto a team under 2 different names. Poang and Badja simultaneously playing. And then Kanye Life, who came out of relative obscurity into known before as Murder, for those of you that don't know, where he kind of flirted with the pro scene. But now, as Kanye Life has really started to shine, especially on the Emirs and Ares of the world.
The aggressive plays coming out from Kanye Life, which is sort of a lot of our notable support players are really not known for the aggressive plays. You know, you take a look at the supports. You think about a lot of Shadow Q's and a lot of Jeff Hindlers over in the North American scene, and in Europe even still you think of more support-oriented support players.
Right.
Kanye Life very very apt to play that Ares, to play that Ymir and do that damage. And as we get into picks and bans, we'll see if they're going to go that way or if they'll go a little bit differently as well. Because honestly, that's what works out for Titan. So hopefully for them, they get what works out well for their team, as Xbalanque worked out well for Fnatic last game. We'll see if Titan opts to ban it.
Well, here we go. It's Fnatic with the first pick and first ban, and their first ban will be Athena. So not wanting to first pick it, they're going to go ahead and ban it out. She's been increasingly popular in this second season here. We'll see what Titan likes to ban out here, as they will have that second pick position and have the final say in the first picking round.
Thor going to be banned out as well for Titan. So they're going to take a look towards the jungle. And Poseidon banned out by Fnatic. You know, we keep seeing these Poseidon bans. Pretty Prime, definitely a competent mid laner. If you're a competent mid laner, you have a good Poseidon. So it's not necessarily targeted at that. A lot of teams just don't want to play against this Poseidon. I guess most notably because of the change to Aegis would be my guess to venture.
Yeah.
Aegis can no longer be used while stunned, and a lot of times you set up a Kraken by stunning somebody. So because you can't avoid that so easily, Poseidon's seeing a little more resurgence. Well,
Now Serket, the final ban, so a couple of bans targeted across the way at the enemy jungler here. Titan respecting Fnatic and their jungle prowess here, as Captain Twig has only really played Arachne. They didn't ban that, but they don't want to deal with his Thor or Serket, so maybe not so much respect as more respect for the god than the player. But Xbalanque once again first picked on the side of Fnatic, and
good choice.
It worked really well for Reels.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this character just really fits Real's playstyle. Rom is probably, as we mentioned before, probably the best descriptor or, synonym for Real's playstyle. Just sort of clean up potential. I can even impact the game from the outside. Well, guess what Xbalanque does? He uses the ultimate to impact the game from the outside and then cleans up with his AoE ability. So very, very in the mindset of Reels. Agni and Sylvanus picked
couple
up
of snack
on
picks.
the side of Titan.
That pick's coming out on the side of Titan here. The Agni. I'm sure that they noted the ban of Agni in the last game, in the second banning round. Agni, as we mentioned, kind of able to bring the fight, and maybe they're kind of trying to limp Zeros through here on the Vulcan, who will be playing mid, not Captain Twig, who has gone to the jungle. Agni v Sylvanus. As well, it allows them to have some luxury with their duo lane, as they know they will not be fighting into a Xbalanque Sylvanus lane, which is fairly difficult to deal with. Definitely the ideal parry for Xbalanque. And now likely to pick their Hunter here, else they will see the Cupid band away. If they want it, they're going to take it here. If not, they will take something else. Maybe the solo lane or jungle Hunbats.
Hunbats. I'm going to venture a guess and say we'll see this in the jungle more. Confrey has played Hunbat solo. Confrey played Hunbat solo before it was cool, if you will. Hunbat solo now a trend that we see in Season 2. But over in Season 1, I believe it was still in the Challenger Cup, way back when Titan was still qualifying and trying to prove their worth. Confrey accidentally picked Hunbats, and we didn't allow him to change it. And he went 16-0.
Well, there you go.
So definitely something that can happen. A little out of the ordinary for the solo laner. We'll see if it comes back with its recent popularity. Third bans are out. They don't want to see, or Titan does not want to see a Nemesis, and Fnatic does not want to see an Artemis.
Ooh, but it'll be the Freya. locked in for Titan here, likely to go to their Hunter position to match with that Sylvanus. And notably, it is Kanye life on that Sylvanus, so we'll see how he does with this like very passive style of laner.
Yeah, you know, we talked a little bit about how Kanye Life is known for his aggressive stuff. His last name, Murder, really sort of leaning towards that Sylvanus. As you mentioned, Bart, quite the opposite. Really a passive player. Freya, very, very tenured Freya player is at Araxia, though.
Did they just get the exact same team as last game on Fnatic?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and if they ain't going to ban it, just keep drafting it. Okay, so Hunbots will be your jungler now as the Aphrodite gets locked in. That'll be your solo lane for Confrey.
I love it.
That means Freya Sylvanus will be going to the Xbalanque Ymir as Fnatic looks to just execute the exact same thing they did last game. If it worked for him, why not do it again? I like the ban on the Artemis as well, saying, hey, look, the Cupid wasn't that big of a threat. What I don't want to deal with is something that can go toe-to-toe with me in the late game. And, well, Freya, she doesn't really solve that problem. She's not going to be able to really go toe-to-toe with Xbalanque in the late game. More of the like mid-game damage carry. But we'll see how it works out for them as Fnatic looks to close this one out in 2 games versus Titan.
A little bit of a throwback right here for Titan. Confrey, one of the bigger things Confrey saw as his team sort of graduated from Challenger to the big boy games as they made their way through the Challenger Cup and eventually Smite World Championship was Confrey's God pool had to expand. He was a much weaker player last season as compared to this season, and part of that was because his God pool was so small, centered around these Chungas and these Aphrodites, oddly enough, very similar to how Maniac sort of established himself. And then as his team grew, he had to as well. And you saw some interesting picks coming out for him. A little bit of a throwback, as we're going to see Aphrodite on Confrey, one of the gods that he really made a name for himself on. So expect a lot of interesting plays coming out from the solo lane side of Titan.
Well, last time I called this, I was wrong, but it looks like we're going to have a fairly standard start here. No one too aggressively looking like they want to invade as of yet. Right side, there's the Arachne, Captain Twig. He's sitting up there, so maybe I'll eat my words, but then they do fall back as maybe they realize they're standing directly on top of a ward. So no real chance to take Titan by surprise here, but may still go for it anyway. No, they fall back, so let's introduce your teams. The blue team, they are known as Fnatic. They're fighting on the bottom side of your minimap and the left side of your spectator UI. It's Maniac in the solo lane, it's Hercules, Captain Twig in the jungle. All of these are the second time in a row they'll be playing these gods, so we'll spare you the once again reprising his roles. It's Captain Twig as Arachne, Zeros as Vulcan, Badja, and Reels as Ymir, Xbalanque duo. And a delayed invade is the name of the game here. The reset comes out, and the reset HP heal is higher than the Birds of Love damage from Aphrodite, so it's
Works
taken
out.
easily there by Fnatic. They concede that one does Titan, and now we'll see how this Aphrodite will fare without her blue buff.
So, Bart.
Yes.
Can you count?
1, 2, 3.
One more.
4.
4 magical players on the side of Titan, which opens things up. Ataraxia playing this Hunter Freya. 4 magical players. Don't be surprised if you see a Pythagorean piece.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah,
It's an expensive item, and the passive isn't quite worth it with only 3 magical people on your team. With 4 magical, it opens the door, and what happens is this becomes a very, very different character, Bart. You buy a Bancrofts and a Pythagorean's piece. You'll see he started off with the... Oh, he didn't. Oh, well. He used to, Season 1, start off with a Curse Blade. And in any event, you'll see maybe 2 lifesteal items to go with the 15% passive on Freya, and she just becomes a character that dishes out damage as much as she takes it. And she becomes a warrior. It's very interesting the way Ataraxia plays it. We've seen it. I'm not sure if we're going to, but this is definitely the scenario that we saw him present the Pythagorean's Piece lifesteal build last season in Season 1.
Reels takes a lot of damage from the archers there in that dual lane as we see that skirmish come out. Another kind of result of having this much magical damage is that there's a potential in this game for Maniac to get out of control. If he just itemizes against magical damage, it'll be very difficult for them to take down the Hercules without anti-heal or tremendous farm on Repa cost. So Titan with a fairly risky setup here, I want to say. A little bit more risky than the Fnatic has done, as we saw in the last game. Not so risky for them.
Vulcan pushing up to the enemy tower. Pretty much a little bit of surprise there, actually. Interesting to say. Pretty Prime on Agni. Definitely one of his more preferred gods. You see him play it a lot in competitive, but if you ever tune into Pretty Prime's stream, Bart, he's always playing Agni. And he's not known for Agni like Lobster, but he's always playing Agni every time I tune in.
Well,
It's cool. He's got 2 heads.
It's his go-to, and definitely you saw it banned out in the last game. So a little bit of respect, and a little bit of they don't want to deal with an aggro kind of mid laner onto their Vulcan as Zeros becomes more and more familiar with the role. But will Pretty Pie make the pick worthwhile here is the big question for me, right? Like they put a lot of priority on it. Now, can he really execute Twig? He's willing to get a bit aggressive as he has his level 5 available. The Agni Bomb secure that camp. Twig dashes away, and Replicas leaps away. Twig just kind of stuck out on an island, but it will be the left side camp's going the way of Fnatic. So they split the first spawn here to Fnatic and Titan.
Captain Twig in the jungle, taking a look at the Freya Hunter as well. Riding along with the support Sylvanus. Sylvanus in the lane. Enemy support not. Definitely something to note. Badger is elsewhere. Taking a look at the map. He is coming up to help out his team. So 2v1, for that wave specifically, you'll see a little bit more farm, if you will. A little more experience, rather. Solo experience and gold on the side of Reels. We'll see how that winds up. Because both of those gods, Xbalanque and Freya, both have lackluster clear.
They do. Yeah, they do. Freya, a little bit better than Xbalanque, maybe.
Yeah.
If she has lane dominance. And is able to stack them up with that Pulse Irradiate combo.
Hey, a swap. Badge is back. Kanye life is gone.
Yeah.
That should even things out.
I do want to point out one thing here, which is Agni has a kind of like 2-minute blink here in his active slot.
Where's Odin?
Right. Is it... I guess I'm just getting at why. They feel like they need to pressure these lanes.
Is this the new... jam? Mid laners pick up Blink. We saw.
Well, it makes sense for the Kukulkan, right? He needs the combat blink eventually to build into, and Agni needs the same thing. Eventually, wants a combat blink. I suppose that's what he likes to play.
Yeah. I mean, the combat blink is definitely
so early.
A way to play safe, but a little bit early purchase, as you mentioned, Bart. But the Kukulkan was Zeros, if I'm not mistaken. Good flip and a better ultimate coming out from the monkey as damages started to get underway. 2 members surrounding this Aphrodite can't heal through that. Hercules picks up the kill to start things off for us. And that kill will go the way of Maniac, solo laner for Fnatic.
Oh, the bomb's coming in on Replicas. It stuns out Maniac and Twig, who were piled on top of him, but now that'll be enough for him to get out of there. So it buys time for that somersault out, and Replicas will live to tell about the tale of the time he almost got ganked at his own blue buff on the right side.
Mid lane, a little bit more action. Vulcan walking into the stun, but a beautiful beads. Not really hurting him too much as he beads out of there, no problem. But taking a look at that rank part, those aren't rank 3 beads this early for Vulcan. It's pretty early on.
So 1-0. Fnatic has their first blood to their credit. They've built themselves a nice little lead as well on the back of it. They have their Gold Fury aspirations, I'm sure, are high now with the Arachne Ymir. Both of these gods excellent at taking down early Gold Furies. Even with the changes to Arachne during her remake about 6 months ago, it doesn't affect her too much outside of maybe that level 1 attempt. She still brings a lot of damage to the table. Mid-camp's coming up for the second time now. They'll be spawning in just a moment. And for the moment, at least, Fnatic has aggressive positioning at both camps where they will, looks like, yes, secure.
Yep. Get them both. No problem. Well, nope. One single Harpy will go the way of Titan, but they will split it 4 ways, Bart. So everybody wants to eat, and Titan spreads it out.
It's efficient, but not good at necessarily kind of flash farming a single god. So
yeah.
They spread it out. And 3 of those mid-Harpies go the way of Fnatic, 1 goes to Titan. So still coming out nicely ahead are the blue team.
This Hunter matchup is very, very interesting to me. Xbalanque versus, or Real's Xbalanque versus Ataraxia's Freya. Ataraxia is a very calculated player. He likes to go in when the opening is wide. He doesn't really like to take too many chances, or at least in the games that we've seen here in the SPL. He likes to do things very, very systematically. Real's a little more aggressive, willing to roll the dice a little bit more. Speaking of Reels, his support comes in and tries to set something up, but not able to. So this matchup and how these two players will play against each other with these 2 picks is actually very, very interesting to me. My eyes are glued to this duo lane.
Pretty Prime has his Doom Orb up and running here. You got to think that Vulcan for Zeros. Oh, no. Zeros is DC here, guys. So we're going to go to just a quick game pause screen. We're going to flash through this pause for you. But with that Doom Orb already up and running on the Agni, you got to think that Vulcan is pretty dang close to it, finishing off his as well. So it'll be an arms race in the mid lane, as really the first one to die will be at a pretty big disadvantage.
Batz is still sitting in this lane. They want to stop Freya. Freya is not a problem, but Freya is sort of like a Bakasura or a Vamana Light, where you got to stop her before she gets too far ahead into what she wants to do. Level 9 against level 9, very, very even against the Xbalanque, trailing by about 300 gold part, but that's really not too much in the grand scheme of things. So they want to stop that train.
Sylvanus finds 2 right on the edge there, pulls back in as well.
Ouch.
Zeros, no backfire is going to save you this time, bud. as Titan just pile in. They dump a lot into it, though, to get that kill. And they get the kill out before the Doom Orb comes out as well.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, will it be enough to slow it down? Indeed, it will. It looks like as Zeros, he's going to buy out a Hog 3 while dead. So his Doom Orb not in the near future.
Not in the near future at all. Beats 3 coming online for the Vulcan. So that will be a good pick. Last time he had to use the beads, it was on cooldown for 125 seconds or so. This time it'll just be about 90. And it'll give him some CDR as well, which could be very valuable for the backfire. Boulder tossed over the wall for some fun.
Did he steal the buff? No.
He tried.
He tried. He was close, but didn't get it this time. Maniac still letting him know. I have a ward here. I guess.
No, I mean it's interesting, right? For every if you think about it, you lose ultimates if you don't use them. You know, in the long scheme of things, good combination coming out from the Hercules, about to take 50% life off of that Aphrodite. Ultimate coming out from Xbalanque, because here is a secret Arachne. But as soon as the lights come back on, the jump is good from the monkey, and he'll be able to jump away. So you know, I like to play for Maniac on the Hercules. It was just very cheeky stuff, Portuguese hunter or solo laner, just letting him know he's there.
Yeah, they Confrey, you know, keeps his trigger finger disciplined there and doesn't use the ultimate when he gets engaged on.
Right.
You know, which means that second kind of initiation phase from Arachne, there's really no threat at any point there as the ultimate was still active, and really still is to this point. So a difficult target to take down.
Mid camps going the way of Ataraxia on the left-hand side, thanks to the Hunter rotation, coming all the way towards the middle lane to pick up those left-hand mid camps. Right ones are down as well. I think they went to the other team, Fnatic. So interesting trade right there. Good decision to rotate over. We've seen a lot of that this season. Well, we saw it a little bit when the time needed it. This time around, Bart, in Season 2, we're seeing a lot of solo and Hunter rotations for those mid camps.
Yeah, definitely the solo lane. Hunter a little bit. Hold that thought. Reels, he's been up more than he can chew here. Sylvanus, there's the knockup. There's a stun, but there is no Freya moving forward here. But there's a Hunbot, doesn't matter. He's already in the Rising Jaguar, and away goes Reels. Now there's an Ymir here. He's going to peel for his teammate. They're going to set out the Arachne as well, but really, Fnatic should just be happy they saved their Hunter's life there.
Oh, yeah. The luck on that part. The timing of that CC immunity for Xbalanque, the beginning of the dash of Rising Jaguar is not CC immune. And then once you're in the air, you are CC immune. So if that Fear No Evil came out a second beforehand, he would not have gotten away. Not only does he get away, but his team secures the Gold Fury. They didn't want to rotate for nothing. Xbalanque ultimate coming out as they noticed they could get a little bit aggressive here, but slinking in underneath the tower is Titan, and they'll be safe no matter what. But as I said, Gold Fury goes down, and that'll bring the early lead to Fnatic for the first time in all of their games today, getting the lead early on. Titan kills are both teams, but Fnatic leads 2,500 gold and 3,000 experience as kills are tied.
Ymir blinking forward, finds two high priority targets as well. The Hunter, as well as the jungler Freya, forced into her ultimate. Doesn't look like Arachne got the dot out in time there. And as a result, goes down to the combination of that Valkyrie's Discretion and a few in-hands from Hunbots.
We've talked a lot today, Bart, about mentalities of players as we see a great play from Vulcan, not enough to finish it out, but gonna hit him with the ultimate right there. We've talked a lot today, Bart, about player mentalities and how they work with their gods. As we've seen these players play a lot of games, we can really sort of tell what a player enjoys or what they like. As a lot of damage comes down from Reels onto the jungler. He gets the kill.
Oh, the pluck.
The poison is going to go that way, but he's going to fall down thanks to Ataraxia.
The gumballs.
Replicas is a character, Bart, that does well with the 1v1 assassin type style. We saw this yesterday. Somebody with that sort of mentality play Hunbat, sort of the antithesis of that. Hunbat's more of a team fight oriented character. Replicas doing very well despite his tendency to play different minded gods.
Yeah, I think that Hunbots is a character that is as a kind of team fighter and bringing the team fight presence is significantly easier to play than in that kind of 1v1 style where you're really relying on some like really nicely timed teleports,
right?
Using the mechanic on your bouncing monkey. For Repicos's style, I think it's okay for him, and he's doing a nice job. You saw maybe just a little bit of unfamiliarity with the character as the Xbalanque Rising Jaguar makes it out before. Should have used that a little bit earlier, knowing how that interaction works specifically.
Frankly, I think that was a little bit of luck.
Yeah, I think you're right, too. I mean, I think all things told, he hasn't had as much impact as we may normally see out of Repicos, at least in converting those kills. Whatever the reason may be, it hasn't necessarily been quite the same style that we're used to seeing out of him.
It is working a little well as we see a great positioning coming out from Badger. We'll talk about that in a minute. Right now, front and center is the freeze into the wall. Great ultimate, and the kill will be finished by the in-hand of Reels. Here comes Titan responding, but they're not able to push back. He got the freeze, Bart, and then immediately walked around and in front, trying to body block him against the wall and his player model. I love the attention in the middle of the fight. I love that decision-making coming out from Badger.
Yeah, he knows that Freya's going to try to banish there, and knows that Xbalanque ultimate is going to be active for about a second after the freeze duration ends. So by kind of running through him there, he guarantees that banish is going to miss and then sets himself up for the body block potentially. And ultimately sets himself up for the positioning of the ultimate to secure that kill onto the Freya. So, all things told, Badger secures the kill for Fnatic. 3,000 gold to their advantage. Gold Fury, she'll be back up in about a minute and a half now. As, the Doom Orbs are both up and running, but Vulcan has taken a spill. So, as you mentioned, the first to go down in this mid lane after the Doom Orbs are done could very well kind of dictate the next few minutes of the game. And it's Agni with 50 stacks and cooldown boots looking to break the painter on the map.
That's the hot topic, no pun intended, as we talk about Agni, is cooldown boots versus power boots. But when you have that Doom Lord Bard, able to bring 140 magical power to the table, fully stacked up, the cooldown boots really make a lot more sense. You can sneak in a little bit of cooldown and get some extra spells off while maintaining your power bank with that Doom Orb. So with the rise in popularity of Doom Orb partially because of the reduction in price, we get to see these cooldown boots and a little other thought process. Previously, CDR was strictly for people that were maxing CDR. Now, cooldown boots make a surprise showing.
We'll see if Spear of the Magus comes next here for the Agni. It's kind of a toss-up between that item. I guess he could go for more stacking if he wanted to, although it's not too popular to do more. And they're going to dump everything into Repi here. They really want to try to convert a Gold Fury off the back of this, but no, that Vulcan ultimate's on the mark. Twig, he's playing forward, doing things that Arachne can do with that ultimate, able to make it to the back lines and zone out a couple there.
All by himself.
Yeah, and so it's a combination of the Vulcan ultimate, the Arachne ultimate, save the life of Badger and let them fight another day here and potentially save an incoming Gold Fury.
A lot of aggression thrown onto Badger. Badger found himself out of position, unfortunately, but able to walk away. And as Bart said, didn't even allude to, just mentioned it, Titan went so hard onto Badger. The reason they threw so many ultimates and just abilities at him was because if you kill the support this early, that's basically a free Gold Fury. So Captain Twig lurking in the jungle, waiting to make something happen. He's just going to take out this ward while his team takes out the Gold Fury this time around. The Lone Spider being the push, the distancer, but Titan had no clue.
Fnatic, I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say Fnatic wins this game.
Yeah?
The itemization that's coming out here. Pestilence already done. 2 Silver Talismans up and running as well between Arachne and Hercules means that not only are they starting to shut down the healing, they're also going to have a tremendous amount of tankiness versus this magic-dominant team. And there's 2 Lotus Crowns coming out on the side of Titan. So there's already Pestilences out on the board. They have 2 open active slots as well to counter with additional weakening curses. Plus, they do have the Arachne or the Xbalanque. Both can build into Brawler Speed Stick decently well. Vulcan, not the best Divine Ruin carry, but between the Pestilences, a Weakening Curse, and maybe 1 Brawler's Beat Stick, Fnatic has great answers to the healing before it becomes a problem, which means that with their advantages already on the board, plus the ease of itemizing into anti-heal against Magic-dominant lineups, I think they just steamroll Titan now. That's my prediction here at the 16.5-minute mark with a 5,000 gold advantage. I think it's enough, and the smart itemization gives them the edge in this game.
Yeah, Ataraxia's build really takes a long time for it to come online. He's got the Fatalis right now, but as we were talking earlier, I was talking earlier about the lifesteal build that is expected to come out of this Freya and the Hunter role. I think one of the things that is overlooked here is that he bought the boots, which slows down the build. He's going into the demo grip, so I don't expect to see a high lifesteal build come out of this Freya. Right now, lights are off for the enemy team. Blink in from Badger. Beads are good. Ultimate and wall is better. That's going to hit Aphrodite for 0 as a great ult comes out by the side of the healer. In comes the jungler. Repicaz trying to provide a little bit of distance.
Oh, it's the double block.
Ball coming off the wall, and Captain Twig gets the hit. There's the ultimate from Vulcan. That's going to corral the enemies into where Fnatic wants them to be. Fighting under the tower is Titan, but it's going to do them no good as Captain Twig can heal up and kill down. That's a double kill for the spider lurking in the jungle. Zeros gets his first kill of the game and gets 2 for the price of 1 as he nails him with the magma bomb. That'll finish the fight for Titan and Fnatic. Titan falls 4 members down at Araxia on the long side of the map, the only one alive, and Fnatic will teleport, show up, hit, and confirm this fire giant.
And Reels, he finds a tower in that split push, pushes all the way up to the tier 2 as well. Fire giant to go the way of Fnatic, and well, kind of just playing itself out as I indicated there. You saw with the tankiness out of the Arachne, especially with that Pestilence completed, much less the Hercules with a Pestilence on top of a Bulwark. Good luck doing magical damage to that target. Even with the Spear of the Magus on the Agni, the rotation came out too late, wasn't able to start pinning down those targets. Seems like they were fighting the Aphrodite forever before those rotations came in, and well, the Hunbot's ultimate proved to not be enough, and you got to be worried as the actives continue to come out. Hercules still has that open active slot, can casually build into the weakening curse, or could go for beads 3 of his own and just try to dominate these fights on the front line. Now with Fire Giant buff, Fnatic, they're going to try to power this one through, it looks like. And they may be able to jam the square peg into the circle hole here, as with just brute forcing down these towers, even against a superior kind of siege, anti-siege lineup out of Titan.
Captain Twig so aggressive, and I mean, this is really, we were talking about the interesting change. Captain Twig, really known for his 1v1 prowess and ability to play Joust and that mid lane working out so well. This Arachne Bard is a 1v1 character, and we're seeing it. There is no seatbelt on Captain Twig. He's just going deep, going in, and hitting where it hurts, Bard. I like him on this character, and I think I might learn to love Captain Twig in the jungle.
Yeah, you learned to love the bomb there?
Not quite that strange, my love, but we'll take a look as we see Pretty Prime getting linked up with his solo laner.
Well, you know, normally when we've seen Titan make some spectacular comebacks, but never on the back of a Freya. Usually something a little more carry potential or Kali potential, as I was saying in the word salad there. But 10.5K XP, about 8K net worth, separating the teams now. As Titan, well, it feels like they've got maybe 1 or 2 stands here before they are forced to all in. Hercules is split pushing the right side lane, forced all the way up to the tier 2. It's the rest of Fnatic on the left side, and we're kind of riding along with Repicaz, linked to Confrey here, looking for anything to keep them away from this tier 2 and stall this game out a bit. And here he's going to move forward. There's a Fear No Evil into an overhead smash. It speeds the way by the damage dealer, and Reels just takes him to lunch and just
that
pays for his lunch and eats it as well.
That ultimate from Vulcan will spread out the Titan team, and you know, a lot of times you want to see the deletion of the Vulcan ult, right? You want to see somebody get hit for 1,500, but it's about corralling the enemy, and that's exactly what happened. Titan pushed off their tier 2, forced to slink back to their Phoenix, all in part due to that ultimate.
Oh,
that's
a
better ultimate from Sylvanus. He's going to knock them up, and here comes the rest. Ataraxia claims 1, and they're going to look for more.
I mean, that's the dream right there.
Yeah.
And Real still finds a kill before going down. He's still fighting. It's going to take it Aphrodite. Only finds a second. Oh my God. The man fight coming out of Reels there. Gets 2 kills before going down. And, well, that was the dream, as I said. And they're still unable to really capitalize too much. And unfortunately, in this game, with all the magic protection that's been built up by Fnatic, Ataraxia is basically a bag full of pennies. Yeah, it's worth something, but it's not really anything you want to have.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I honestly really like the Freya Hunter pick, and I like the Freya Hunter pick onto Ataraxia. This time around, it's just not working out for Titan. He just finished the demo grip. I think he's just a little too far behind. 9,200 gold in total on him, while you have 11,600 on Xbalanque on the other side of the Hunter roll. That's really what it's about, Bart. It's level 17 to level 20 on Xbalanque. Just a little bit too far behind, and that is the one downside. Well, not the one, but that's one of the downsides of Freya, Bart, is that you get behind, you really can't keep up.
Right, yeah, especially when there's just tremendous anti-magic damage items out on the board here. That Pestilence on Arachne, what a value Pestilence coming out on her. Kind of harping on it here, but it's paid dividends so far. Captain Twig has Hasn't really adjusted his playstyle so much, really. I mean, he was diving. It's not like he wasn't diving before.
Yeah, no, he still is.
But before we saw Magi's Blessings or kind of anti-CC based items here, it's just straight up, doesn't matter if you catch me. You're never going to be able to burst me down in time to prevent kind of that initiation from Badger or Reels. So, my oh my, Fnatic in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel, ready to take this one home. All Phoenixes, no, I'm sorry, mid lane Phoenix not exposed. There's still a tier 2 standing there. But Fnatic farming out Titan's jungle, looking to keep them away from any free farm.
Lotus Crown is online for Sylvanus, so that'll help out and provide 20 magical defense and 20 physical defense when he drops the heal for basically his whole team. That's what that green graphic is around those players. The green bubble will be that extra. Here's Captain Twig caught out just a little bit. The pull beads. Beads activated mid-pull, Bart.
That's how you do it.
Interesting stuff.
Let's talk about...
Actually, that's a question.
What?
Pull? Actually, no, it's not. Pull will bring you through the Ymir.
It would, yes.
Yeah, so beads mid-pull. Great job.
But Sylvanus has just a Lotus Crown.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, he is paper thin. That's a problem.
I mean, at this point in the
Especially
game,
considering his Heart Ward Sovereignty on the other side versus Lotus Crown.
My thought process here, if you'll entertain it, is that you're far behind as a support. You're not going to catch up anytime soon because you're a support. Buy the Lotus Crown. You can help your team a little bit. Sure, you can help your team with Sovereignty or Heartward Amulet, but this you can help your team on demand. You can sort of assist when you need it the most. That's the thought process I would venture a guess would be on the side of Kanye Life. So it's not great, but I understand where he's coming from, and to a certain level I respect it. So trying to do what they can with what they have, which at the moment is a little bit tough. 24 minutes into this contest, 12,500 gold is Fnatic to Titan. Fnatic there, senior, also leading 15,000 experience. So when you're down over that 5-digit mark, Bart, you really got to do anything you can to sort of provide power and presence where possible.
Freya does have damaging items now. Demonic Grip done, working towards a Spear of the Magus or Obsidian Shard. Probably Obsidian Shard at this stage in the game. We'll be able to do a bit of damage here, at least cut through some of those protections, but it may be too little too late here as Titan definitely, with their final stand, they had that kind of 1 in a million initiation, 4-man Sylvanus ultimate in the last engagement on the left side. Not enough to really net a positive team fight out of them, and now they can't even smell the Fire Giant as he starts to drop lower and lower, 50% as Reels kind of smacks him around a bit, starting to regen back up with the Fire Giant, and Reels erases that Sylvanus, as we mentioned. Not a lot of protection items out of him. Having the agility forced out there as well, so just so the Freya can live. And now, less their tank, this is going to be a free Fire Giant for Fnatic.
Yeah, Reels is just doing it himself. He's like, all right, mate, I got 1 kill, so we're going to go ahead and I'll take care of this Fire Giant. Ultimate down by Repicos, more defensive than offensive, but the team is split now. Fire Giant is finished by the Hunter, and they'll get the Okie Doke. Fire Giant belt comes around them mid-fight. Beautiful ultimate coming out by the side of Aphrodite, but Confrey not strong enough. As soon as that shield goes down, Driving Strike claims the life of the solo laner for Titan, and their right-hand Phoenix will be looked at and eventually taken down. Fnatic, 1 Phoenix already down.
Well, they have a tier 2 in the mid lane here to go take at their leisure, pick up that extra bounty as well with their Fire Giant buff, and it looks like that will be the plan for Fnatic. A little bit of a pincher spot here, but I don't think Titan's really trying to fight outside their base at this point. 26 minutes, Fire Giant buff up. All 5 members of Fnatic going to the 4 of Titan as they try to hold out inside their base. They need a wipe here. Gold Fury will be back up, but that's a pretty small consolation prize, even if they do manage to get a wipe. They really need kind of a stall out from Fnatic and then an extended chase that results in them getting kills on the Titan side, or the Fnatic side of the base. But here comes Initiation and immediately erases Kanye Life again.
Yeah, Kanye Life's so thin right now, I can't see chat at the moment, but if I could, a lot of times you like to hear the bleachers will scream for an F6, but Titan, not the team to do it. Definitely has done things like this in the past. Siege in the middle lane, hard kill by Vulcan, the double kill on the ultimate. And that might just be enough to seal it as Reels picks up a 3rd, folks. 5 members alive, 5 members dead on the other side of Titan. And inevitably their Titan will fall, and Fnatic will take this series in 2. Fnatic, your victors above.
Well,
Titan.
Fnatic struggles with Trig, comes back and beats Titan. Titan, the #1 team coming into the season out of Europe, so definitely one to hang their hat on there for Fnatic.
Yeah.
It looked Reels and Xbalanque looks good.
Yeah, I mean, it just as I said, I don't want to harp on it too much, but it just befits the player a little bit more. You know, Reels just likes to have heavy-handed characters and come in middle of the fight, affect it from the outside, and then do what he can to clean up after the fact. Cupid doesn't really fit that. Sort of Cupid on the other side of things likes to start fights. Xbalanque likes to end fights. So a little bit more fitting tool for Reels to wield, and definitely showed out that way.
Let's take a look back at how this one all got started, guys, as we go back in time and see our first blood this game.
Cue Kronos. Not Kronos this time. It will be Hercules with the delayed invade. We see them come on in as they take a look at the blue buff. He secures it for his team, so that'll be a good one. And the flip, driving strike combo should be good enough.
Yeah, they just run down Confrey here.
There it is.
That was the first one. Aphrodite was level 5 as well during that engagement, so able to still secure that one. And, well, a little known fact, the X in Real ZX stands for Xbalanque. He's also your player of the game, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at how his slash line went down. And we also have Marcus on the line, I think. Are you there, Reels?
I'm here, hello.
Hey, what's up? How are you? And
I'm good, man, thank you.
I mean, so you guys struggled with Trig. Take me through the transition from playing Trig to playing up against Titan.
Well, obviously we played a lot against Trig, so we kind of know their playstyle. We knew it was going to be super hard going into it, and I think they played really well, you know, and I think it was a good warm-up game for us.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that way. And when we were talking to Trix, we were asking him, you know, what is it like playing against this Fnatic roster now that Zeros and Twig have switched roles? So I want to get that same kind of opinion from your side. What do you see differently out of your squad now that your mid laner and jungler have swapped where they're leading off?
I think it's brilliant, you know, because obviously like Twig's mechanics are amazing, so putting him in any role would be fine. Into the jungle, I think he loves to play. You know, Zerhos was always a mage player as well in the jungle. He likes to play mages. They wanted to switch, and I mean, we was up for trying it, and it seems like it's working pretty effectively at the moment. So.
Yeah, definitely an interesting swap around. Caught my eye for sure. Now, I've talked a lot about your hunter choice today, so I want to get it from the horse's mouth. You know, you seem to struggle on Cupid, and you obviously did not struggle on Xbalanque, absolutely tearing it up. What's that thought process like in picks and bans, and do you actually prefer the Xbalanque?
Not until after them games. But I think I enjoy playing all the hunters. I wouldn't prefer one over the other. I think they're all good, but it depends. Like some of them work better in different situations, you know. And it just so happened that Xbalanque worked really well for us in them situations in them games, and Cupid didn't work well for us in the Trick games, obviously. So that's just how it played out, you know.
So one final question before we let you go, Marcus, is were you surprised at all to see Titan let you guys draft the exact same team twice in a row?
I mean, not really, because from their point of view, obviously they felt like they could have improved on stuff and done stuff better, you know. So I feel like they didn't feel it was the comp so much. They just felt like they could probably play better against that comp, you know, and made it not so easy for us, and felt like they had a good chance against it. So I think that's why they let us have the same gods.
Well, thanks a lot, Marcus. That was Real ZX, guys. Captain and Hunter for Team Fnatic. That does do it for set number 2 here, guys. Out of Europe, and now we switch gears over to North America, where it's going to be Denial going up against TSM. Any thoughts on this one before we toss it a break?
This one should be exciting. I do think Team Solomon has a little bit of an edge over Denial, but Denial really has come out and they 3-0'd in the qualifiers, and they're sort of riding on momentum. So sure. I think Team Solomon has the edge in this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if really Denial snuck out either one game or even 2.
Could be a huge statement game for Denial if they're able to take it down.
Oh, yeah.
That does it for us from the desk, guys. We'll be back with set number 3 from North America. Denial versus TSM. Don't go anywhere. This one's going to be awesome.